Hey everybody, how you doing? How you been? It's your fantasy commissioner back with episode 5 of my blueprint. We are going to be talking about round 3, at least the first half of round 3. Just to recap, here are our teams from the first 2 rounds. I'm not going to read through all of them. However, I will give you my favorite team thus far. I do really like Team A with Barkley and Ertz. I'm extremely high on Zach Ertz for obvious reasons, and I do believe, obviously, Barkley is going to be the number 1 player off the board this year. So the team up, who I believe is a 1A in all of tight ends with the number 1 overall pick, is a great strategy here with the first pick. I also really like the Adams and Gurley team, and the reason for that is because if Gurley can have that Gurley-like season, to team him up with Devonta Adams, you are looking at a 1-2 combination that can put up a lot of points each week. And lastly, I would probably say my favorite team out of them all is going to be Team G. I really love Hopkins and Kelsey. Kelsey is my number 1 tight end, and Hopkins is my number 1 wide receiver. However, again, it's really early. We are only in round 2 thus far, and I'm going to do round 3 today, or first half of round 3 today. But as of right now, I do like Team G. Okay, like I said, episode 5, round 3. I am your fantasy commish. So we're going to be talking about picks 1 through 6 in round 3. Please keep in mind, okay, this is extremely early. We're 98 days away from the NFL kickoff. So while you're going through these episodes and my videos, please be aware that rounds 3, 2, and 4 are going to change, in my opinion. Why? Depth chart changes, injury changes, who's really hot in the preseason, who's doing really well in training camps. So those will be interchangeable. Now, again, this is extremely early little mock draft. All my picks are ceiling type picks, so I'm not looking at floors. I'm only looking strictly at ceilings. If you haven't yet, please like my videos, subscribe, and let's get started. Always remember, I love comments. I like questions. I want to answer your questions. So please leave a comment on the bottom, and I'll get to it on my next episode. I apologize again for those of you that have been watching all my episodes. I know I didn't post last week. I was extremely busy at work, but I'm back. I'm on summer vacation, and I'm ready to rock and roll. All right, so let's get started here. Pick 3. So we got Team A. So again, in a snake draft, okay, we're going to circle back around. Pick number 1, again, picks first in round 3. This team has Saquon Barkley and Zach Ertz. With their 3rd round pick, they're going to go with A.J. Green. A.J. Green only played in 9 games in 2018, and as you can see, these are his numbers. I will not go through all of them as he was hurt. So what do I think about A.J. Green this year? I do believe that A.J. Green is an elite quarterback. Wide receiver. However, he does not have an elite quarterback. If A.J. Green was on a team like Julio with a Matt Ryan, or if he was even on a team, where it had a decent throwing quarterback when he has an arm and Cam Newton, I do believe that A.J. Green would be a very productive fantasy wide receiver. When healthy, he is extremely productive. However, in 8 of his seasons, he's only played 4 full seasons, guys. So that means there's a 50% chance that A.J. Green will not finish the season. So my advice to you, if you're going to draft A.J. Green, or if you're in this position where he falls to round 3 like this, I'd take him. I have my fingers crossed that he has a great first couple of games, and then I'd ship him away. Okay, why? 50% chance of him getting hurt. I will trade A.J. Green for 2 players, to receive 2 good players. Okay, that's what I'm going to plan on doing. If A.J. Green falls to me in the drafts, I'm going to draft him, and then I'm going to ship him off when he has that monster game that he usually has. Okay, last season he was on pace for 137 targets before he got hurt. However, he's never reached 100 receptions in a single season in his 8-year career. If he's healthy, again, he can really help your team. If you're willing to take that 50% chance, if you're a gambling man, then you're going to draft A.J. Green and you're going to hold on to him. However, if you're like me and your team usually gets hurt at the end of the season, trade him early. My 2019 projections for A.J. Green, he's going to have 95 catches, 1,200 yards, 9 scores, 269 fantasy PPR points, and 174 standard league points. Again, if he stays healthy, and these are my projections for his ceiling numbers. Team B, pick number 26, second pick, round 3. This is my Cowboys team. This is Zeke, and they have Amari Cooper. With their third pick, I love this man, Devonta Freeman. Okay, again, another player that was hurt in 2018. However, Devonta Freeman was getting drafted extremely high last year. He signed a humongous contract with the Atlanta Falcons. They did trade away Coleman, which I believe is going to really benefit Devonta Freeman. Why? Devonta Freeman and Coleman switched in and out on series. If Coleman had the hot hand, they'd keep Coleman in. If Freeman had the hot hand, they'd keep Freeman in. If they both were doing nothing, they'd switch them in and out. Coleman is no longer there. Okay? So I believe Devonta Freeman is in line for a huge workload this year. I am probably, as with training camp goes, and I see how that knee is, I'm really going to target Freeman a little bit earlier. I really do think he's going to have a fantastic year. Will his knee be back to 100%? Who knows? However, this is a risk that you're going to take by drafting a guy like Devonta Freeman. Is he worth that second-round pick, third-round pick, or are you going to let somebody else take the risk? Me personally, a Seminoles guy myself, well, I didn't go there, but I love Florida State. I do believe Devonta Freeman is the guy to target in your drafts. 2019 projections, 1,200 yards, 12 scores, 45 catches for 350 receiving yards, 3 scores, total of 290 PPR points, and 255 standard league points. Devonta Freeman, keep him in mind. Pick number 27 by Team C. They have McCaffrey, and they also have Thielen. They're going to go with another Florida State man, and Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook in 2018 played in 11 games. He had 615 yards. I'm not going to go through this again because another player who was hurt. He's on the Vikings, right? Going back and looking at the Vikings schedule and looking at a few articles, they have the third easiest running back schedule in the league. So what that means is he's going to be going against defenses that can't stop the run. Okay? We also know that the Vikings really committed to the run game last season halfway through the year. They had the new coaching staff, new office, so I do believe Cook is in line for a huge workload this season. Now, he was very inefficient last season. If you had Dalvin Cook, you were extremely disappointed, and I can almost 100% say that you are not going to be drafting Dalvin Cook again this year. They did draft a kid, Alexander Madison, out of Boise State. He rushed for 1,400 yards, 17 scores in 2018. They did draft him early. I think it was like 4th round, 3rd round. So they do have a little bit of concern about Dalvin Cook. Now, do I believe Madison hurts Cook? My opinion right now is no. As training camp goes on, that may change. They also signed Abdullah from Detroit Lions. As we know about him, he's just a name and doesn't really factor into much. Dalvin Cook does not catch many passes. However, he will pound the rock this season. 2019, I project 1,150 yards, 12 scores, 30 catches for 300 yards, and 1 receiving touchdown. That's good for 253 fantasy PPR points and 193 standard league points. All right, round 3 continued. Pick number 28. We're at Team D. Team D went Alvin Kamara first round, and then T.Y. Hilton in the second round. Whoa! Freeze. What is he thinking? New England Patriots running back in the 3rd round? All right, I get it, okay? Not everybody is going to draft a New England Patriots running back early in the draft. If you played fantasy for a long time, you know never to trust a Belichick running back. Now, me personally, if I didn't go and read articles and look at other experts' drafts, I would probably stay away from Sony Michel. I probably am going to stay away from Sony Michel, honestly. But when I'm doing ceiling numbers, I kind of like Sony Michel. Okay? Now, he does have a tremendous floor, in my opinion, meaning that he could either have a great year or a very bad one. The reason why I do think he could have a good year, however, is they have no receivers, guys, right? Gronk's gone, Gordon's gone, Patterson's gone, Hogan's gone. Those are 4 guys that they relied on last season on offense. Those guys are gone. Okay, so I do believe that Belichick has to change the way that he's calling his offense. I do believe they're going to be a run-first type of offense this year. Okay, not on every game, but on games where he sees fit. Tom Brady is also aging. We saw a tremendous decline in his production, so I do believe that continues this year. So that leads to more running. We saw in the playoffs too, guys. Sony Michel rushed for almost 350 yards in the playoffs and scored 6 times. Okay, so they really trust this kid, and I do believe they're going to give him the ball a lot in 2019. My predictions, 1,200 yards, 12 scores, 25 catches for 200 yards. Why? Because they have White, so he's not going to catch the ball often. 0 touchdowns, 237 PPR, and 212 standard league points. So, the question is, will the Patriots rely on the running game? If so, you take Michel. If you don't think they're going to change up their offense and they're going to rely again strictly on Tom Brady's aging arm, you stay away. I personally probably staying away. I don't gamble against the Pats. Okay, sorry, moving on. Round 3, here we go. Pick number 29, Team E. They went with Le'Veon Bell and Keenan Allen. This is my last pick for this episode. Oh, sorry, I have one more after this. This team's going with Derrick Henry. I'm really high on Derrick Henry. In 2016, he rushed for 1,059 points, 12 scores, 15 catches, 99 yards, 0 scores through the air, 201.9 fantasy PPR points, 186.9 standard league points. So, why am I so high on Derrick Henry? Sound the alarms. This guy was a number 1 running back in both PPR and standard league scoring from weeks 13 to 17. This dude gets better the more he touches the rock. Okay, and I think the Titans figured that out. They have a tremendous offensive line. They committed to the run from weeks 13 on. He has huge upside, and in my opinion, he's going to go early in drafts. The more people read, the more articles they're going to see, the more mock drafts they're going to witness, the more they're going to hear on ESPN. Derrick Henry is that dude in Tennessee, and he's going to get the rock plenty this season. Okay, so if you're eyeing Henry and you really want Henry, I wouldn't hate you if you drafted him in the second round. Let's put it that way. I do see a tremendous upside with Derrick Henry this season. I think this is going to be his breakout year. 2019, I'm projecting 1,300 yards, 13 scores, 20 catches for 120. Again, they still have Deion Lewis, so he will not catch the ball a lot. 240 PPR points, 220 fantasy standard league points. He's a fantastic guy to have on your team in both PPR and standard leagues. Pick number 30, Team F. They have James Conner and Mike Evans. Nick Chubb-a-dub-dub in the tub. I said Chubb-dub-dub in the tub. Okay, 16 games. It wasn't really 16 games, guys, last year. Carlos Hyde played majority of the beginning of the season. Nick Chubb was averaging like 4 carries for the first 5 weeks, okay? So it was about 11 games. 10, 11, 12 games. About 1,000 yards. 8 scores, 20 catches, 150 receiving yards, 2 scores through the air, 194.5 fantasy PPR points, and 174.5 standard league points. All right, Chubb-a-dub-dub in the tub. What do I think of Chubb this year? He's another guy like Sony Michel, in my opinion. I'm going to stay away from him, but he does have a really high ceiling. Okay, why am I staying away from him? This is why. Chubb could start off hot, right? Weeks 1 through 3 has great first 3 games. All of a sudden, he starts to cool off from 4 through week 8. Okay? If he cools off, they're going to give a shot to the man that's coming back from suspension, Hunt. Okay? The Browns took a chance on Hunt. They took him for a reason, right, guys? Think about that for a second. This guy is not a guy that you wanted to put his name with your organization together as one. Okay? Do I think he should be in the league? No, but that's for another video, another question, whatever. But he's still on the Browns, and he's still a good player. So I do believe he's going to get the ball. Okay? If Chubb has a bad start or a bad heading into week 9, Hunt's going to get a shot, and Hunt's good enough to take control over that backfield. Okay? So, Chubb again, great upside. But, like Sony Michel, I'm staying away from him due to Chubb having Hunt coming back, or the Browns having Hunt coming back in week 9. Okay? If you take Chubb and he starts off hot and you start to see that decline, in my opinion, I'm shipping him off, or I'm going to have Hunt on my bench just in case. Okay, a lot of people are saying, don't worry about Hunt. But in my opinion, why would the Browns take a chance on this guy, okay, if they didn't want him to play? Does that make sense? Okay. Chubb also doesn't catch many balls, so you can't say, oh, Hunt's going to play. No. Chubb just doesn't catch the ball, right? So if you think Hunt's not going to be an issue, you draft Chubb. If you think Hunt's going to be an issue like I do, stay away. 2019, my projection ceiling, 1,100 yards, 10 scores, 25 catches for 210 yards because, again, they have Duke Johnson on third down unless he gets shipped off, but he hasn't yet. 1 score through the air, 222 fantasy PPR points, and 198 standard league points. That's all I got for today, guys. That was picks 1 through 6 in round 3. Again, I apologize for not posting last week. I am done. I can post now every couple of days, so please keep a lookout for my next video. Remember, please like my videos and comment. I would love to answer your questions. All right? I project that I'm probably going to get through round 5 with this mock draft, and then I'm going to put this kind of to the back burner. And then I'm going to really break down, sleeper picks, top receivers, top running backs, top quarterbacks, okay, and answer any questions that I'm receiving via text message. If you are texting me questions, please put them on the YouTube video. I would really greatly appreciate that. All right, guys? As always, it's been a pleasure. Commish out.